So because we've been together for so long, we've just seen a lot of couples split up because they're constantly just in the day to day, the minutia of just wake up, go to work, come home, have dinner. If there's kids, homework, bath time, bedtime, and do it all over again. So there's just that monotony of that, right? So for us, we thought it'd be important to start doing things. I mean, yeah, we would do date days once a month or go out and try to do something. But for us, it needs to be a weekly occurrence, and we feel that that's what couples need as well.
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. And today we are talking about the secret to happy couples. Now, you don't have to be happy to stay married. There are plenty of miserable married couples out there, resigned to their lives together. But who wants that? Most of us want to be that honeymooning couple in the first flushes of new love together. They haven't hurt each other yet. They haven't run out of things to say, and they still find each other interesting. But after 2 years of marriage, or 5 years, or even 10 years, it can be hard to dredge up much enthusiasm for someone you know inside and out. Well, our guests, Charles and Linda Musselwhite, don't have that problem. They've been married for over 30 years. They were high school sweethearts, and despite hard times, despite both coming from broken families, they've managed to make their marriage stick. And one of the reasons is their attitude. They believe couples should have fun together, eat well together, travel together, and work out together. And that's why they created Fun Loving Couples, a community for committed couples who know that getting out together keeps them together. Welcome, Charles and Linda.
Thank you, Amy, so much.
Yes, thank you very much, Amy.
So before we get into talking about fun-loving couples, I want to talk about you two for a moment. 30 years of marriage. Was there ever a point in that time where you thought, we can't do this anymore?
So believe it or not, no, because early on we vowed that we weren't going to be another statistic. We both grew up, as you mentioned, in broken homes. His parents split up when he was 3, mine when I was 9. And I mean, just going through as a child, the separation, the visits, and, all of that, we just said that if we're going to commit, if we're going to do this, commit to it and bring children in the world, that we were going to fight through whatever it was.
And if I could come in, the interesting thing is, even though that was our commitment back then, it matured into so much more than I could ever even had expected. Right. So just the fact that our commitment was to each other and to our kids, that commitment and not just having the resiliency to go through anything and everything has, I think, made the world, at least of our relationship, much brighter, much bolder, much stronger, much deeper. And so even though we thought it was for the kids, it's actually ended up really benefiting us tremendously, foundational.
What I love about that is that so many people read the statistics about how if you're from a broken home, that increases your chance of divorce. And if he's from a broken home, you guys have no chance. But what you've done is what I've actually heard a lot of young people are doing. You've used that as fuel for your commitment. You've decided that you're not going to do that. And I think that's a wonderful way to make sure that you want marriage to last a lifetime. I know there's a lot of young people nowadays who don't want to get into it because it's scary. What was your thought process when you were thinking about getting married? Did it scare you because of your past experiences?
We actually dated for 4 years, so I think we sort of learned each other and just how we each operate in those 4 years, even though we were still super young.
Baby.
Yeah, we had learned a lot of stuff over those 4 years. So we waited. We sort of knew that we were soulmates, very, very early on. So we just figured, let's just give it some time, make sure, because of, like you said, because of what happened, with our parents. I'm sure there was that fear, in the back of our mind. We probably never discussed it or even thought about it, but just, in the back of our minds, that probably was there. But
it's an interesting question. So much stimuli that comes from outside of it, but movies, TV, everything here is about the breakup. So I think that was always something that was in front of us. But again, like we said, the commitment was for other reasons. And I remember when we decided we were going to get married, I was just so thrilled. Like I felt electric, and never even thought about, well, what's going to happen next. That was just not even on my radar. It was just, maybe in the back of my mind, it was something that was there, but it was never, I was never looking for the first moment of hell or high water to get out. I was always, we're here forever.
See, that's fantastic. So that's automatically one of those secrets that those of us listening can really take heed of. The strength of the commitment, and a commitment that comes from knowing your past doesn't predict the future, and that you can create the future based on your willpower. And the fact that both of you had it, and I think the other good thing about your story is you waited 4 years. You really, really knew before you got into it that was what you wanted. So I'm sure about the same time you got married, a lot of your friends got married. Ooh. And I wonder how many of them are still together. What have you seen as the pitfalls that some of the people fall prey to, and that they haven't lasted as long as you?
That's a loaded question, but I feel like, and true, a lot of couples aren't together anymore. You don't see, what we've experienced anymore. I mean, we've come across some couples, but it's very, very difficult. I think their communication with one another, their being on the same page is what probably, not being on the same page is what drove them apart.
And so for us, when we got married in our group, I think we were the first couple to get married. And because of that, we got a lot of flack from all of our single and dating friends, about life forever and same man, same woman forever. But I think there was something in that for us as well, and that it made us become more dependent upon and reliant upon each other. We knew we had rules and roles that we had to fill in capacity for each other. So while they're still out, having fun at the bar or doing this, and there were some of those times where, I want to go to the bar, I want to go hang out. Like, we had responsibilities, little ones running around. But the cool thing was, here we are later, and there's been a lot of damage for some of those other relationships. Like Linda said, they weren't on the same page, or some other number of factors that played into why they're not together. But we're still going strong. And in a lot of ways, I would tell you that our marriage is stronger now than it ever was way back then. And it was more of an infatuation and a physical attraction then, even though we felt in love. Now it's I don't even have a word for it. It's just a lot deeper.
So I want to talk about getting on the same page together, because I think that's hard. I think most of us think there's two ways to do it. The first is to pick someone who thinks exactly like you about everything, which is hard to find. And the second way is the hardest way of all, which is to communicate and communicate and communicate. What do you think has led to you being on the same page?
Well, I mean, it's so cliche, right? Communication is key, but it really is, because, I can hold in and bottle up my feelings, and so can he, but then we don't even know what's going on with one another. And granted, we did not always communicate 100%. And I'm not saying we do it now, but because of being together for so long, we know each other so well. Like, literally, I'll tell him, I'm like, hey, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm like, remember, I know you. Like, how long has it been? And he's like, darn it, But I think it goes deeper than that. Like, there's that feeling. Like, there's the communication, but there's that feeling that we know when we're out of sync, and striving to not fix things, but no one's happy if there's silence in the home or something's going on. But how do we know how to talk to one another to bring it out of each other? And then how do we go forward and fix it if it needs fixed or remedy it?
Number one is that it's not a me versus you, right? It's us. And so I had to learn that part, because sometimes when people tell me that bothers me, that irritates me, I don't like this, you should be doing that, my first reaction is to get defensive. So I had to learn that why would I be defensive against my spouse or my partner? If I'm doing something that's irritating her, or I'm doing something that's going to jeopardize something coming up down the road, I really need to be on the same side as her in the team. It's vice versa. It's not just, all one way. So that was one thing, knowing that whatever she says, however she says it, it's not aimed at me to hurt me necessarily, but it's something I've got to pay attention to and then somehow modify either my behaviors or get her to see my position. The second thing that we started doing, and this goes back about 10 years ago, once a month, we do what we call a brainstorming session. And we started it primarily for our business, but it worked so well in our business, we thought we actually should be brainstorming our relationship. We get out of the house, we get out of the office, we sit down. What happened over the last 30 days? What didn't you like? What did you like? What are we going to be doing for the next 90 days? And that by itself, to me, is probably one of the biggest investments of time that we've made in our marriage that's produced dividends, huge dividends.
That is amazing, because most of us, when we get into a marriage, we think, right, we're in it. It just goes on and on, because all the hard work was choosing the right person.
No.
Not at all. Wow. So you guys have been married 30 years. What do you think is the best part about being married that long? What do you guys get to enjoy that these new couples don't have any idea of?
I feel intimately knowing one another. So, on every level. So mind, body, and soul, right? So, no, it's weird. We don't typically finish each other's sentences, but, finishing each other's sentences, knowing that there's something wrong, or knowing what we can do, even if it's as silly as it's time to go for a walk. So, I don't know. There's so much that encompasses it. What would you say?
Well,
I know he's like, oh, this is insight right now.
I'm making notes for brownie points later.
I don't know. There's this, like I said, I feel like it's mind, body, and soul. It's deeper than just superficial, or the outward happenings or appearance.
So probably not the right answer, but my desire is so that together we cross the finish line. Right now, just the thought of us not being together, I can't even wrap my head around it. I know it's going to happen one day, right? One of us is going to pass. We plan that Linda will pass first and then I'll pass. Hopefully life works out that way. But it's my focus is so downrange. It's as if none of this other stuff, the obstacles, are just little speed bumps in the road. Things will happen, and you know what? We'll stop, we'll recalibrate, and get back on path again, get back on track.
Mm-hmm. So you've actually given us quite a few tips by now. You've talked about the strength of the commitment, the fact that the commitment is through thick and thin. There's no thought of giving up. That doesn't include in it. You've talked about being on the same team. And I think that's so important. Communication, not getting defensive, and your brainstorm, your check-ins every 30 days, which is a great idea. And I know you've got another couple secrets up your sleeve. Talk to us about the importance of having fun in your relationship.
Yeah, so we, because we've been together for so long, we've just seen a lot of couples split up because they're constantly just in the day-to-day, the minutia, just wake up, go to work, come home, have dinner, if there's kids, homework, bath time, bedtime, and do it all over again. So there's just that monotony of that, right? So for us, we thought it'd be important to start doing things. We would do date days once a month or go out and try to do something. But for us, it needs to be a weekly occurrence, and we feel that's what couples need as well. I know you have. I could see him getting antsy, but it's super important. I think that's a way to reconnect, regardless, even if it's once a month. If that's all you can do, that's fine. But just getting out and reconnecting with one another.
The routine is the big issue, because I think if you allow the routine to get long enough, you become roommates. You'll become lovers and friends. So you've got to do things to keep it fresh. And just a change of scenery. So travel, for instance, and this, whether it's halfway around the world, for our 25th, we got to go to Fiji, and that was awesome and amazing. But don't discount just walking up the street here and going to the park for a walk. Get out of the element, change the scene, change the smell, change all this stuff, right? Work it out. Maybe we tend to overdo it, but I often joke that the couple that works out together gets stinky, but gets stronger. And you know what? There's a dependency on each other when you're working out. Watching my form, helping, making sure we don't get hurt. All those things go into it. Eating well. Don't get me wrong. I used to love McDonald's hamburgers. I'm not bad on anyone who still does fast food and that stuff, but just being thoughtful and considered about what we're putting into our body. We've noticed that how we fuel ourselves changes our minds, changes our bodies. My body is not mine anyway. It's for her and vice versa. and then just having fun, knowing that there's going to be nonsense and drama coming our way that we've got to deal with. If we maintain the perspective of how do we deal with it and have fun, it seems to create a nice barrier. Still unpleasant things are going to happen, but we know where our base is, and we can return to base when we need to recharge.
I love that, because that goes right into that idea of the love bank, where you need to put in more deposits than you take out. And those deposits are all those fun, positive experiences you have. And I know that you've also created a community to help couples have more fun in their lives. Could you talk to us about fun-loving couples? Like, who's it for? How does it work? What is it?
Yes. So first off, fun-loving couples is for committed couples. And as we all talked about, that like to travel, eat well, work out, and have fun.
Because complacency is the silent killer to our relationship.
Yes.
Sorry.
In any combination, because we have couples in our group. We have a closed Facebook group community of just over 500 people. Sometimes it's just husbands, or sometimes it's just wives, or both of them. Just depends on who's on social media or not. We tell them you don't have to do everything. But the most important thing is that connecting with your partner. So whether you're, a traditional marriage, you're dating, your alternative lifestyle, whatever it is, that you come together as one and do one of those. And even if it's bottom line is just having fun, going out, going to a restaurant, whatever the case may be. But it's so important for couples to connect that way. So to us, we want to bring fun or adventure into the relationship for them. So, giving them ideas on where to go or what to do. And we wanted it to make it a fun environment and not, counseling or, things like that. We want it to be, open and fun. And we have events where we'll get together with other couples and do brunch. Or when we go to other cities or states, we'll try to get groups of couples together. Just because sometimes they don't even go out with one another, which is sort of crazy, but they don't get out. But if they're with a group, because maybe they're having some issues, it makes them feel better. And then I feel it helps connect them even better.
Yeah. No. And one of the byproducts, fun-loving couples was not created for it to be a group community. We're not always going to do things. I really wanted to find somewhere where, if I were going to Manhattan, for instance, this is basically a true story. There were so many restaurants in Manhattan. How do you possibly know where to start? And my fear was I'm always going to pick the wrong one. But I would feel so much happier if, for instance, you had gone to Manhattan and you said, hey, go to this little steakhouse or this little sushi house because of these reasons. Your endorsement of that place, because we have like-minded interests, is going to rise above anything I'm going to read on Yelp or anything else. So that was important. But that wasn't the only part of it. One of the great byproducts of this is that we've been able to bring couples together who didn't necessarily even know they lived in the same town, and they've developed friendship. But that wasn't the primary. The primary was just so there was this kind of a database of things to go do, work out, eat, all that kind of fun stuff. But it's kind of blossomed and taken on its own little life and growing tentacles in terms of how, what the benefits are for other folks.
Yeah, and it's so backs up with science too. I know the science is very strong that novelty is one of the main ways that couples keep the spark together. And also socializing with other couples has been scientifically proven to make your own relationship stronger. So let me just get clear. So Fun Loving Couples has resources for anywhere in the United States. Am I right? Even though your actual events, are they based in California? Where are they based?
The events are anywhere, and the list is growing. So while you might go on there and not find your specific city right now, keep checking back. Hopefully we'll be growing it soon to get there. Selfishly, we looked at the Gulf states first because we like the Gulf of America. the Gulf of, why am I losing the thought of? The Gulf
Coast.
The Gulf Coast. Yeah, let's just call it the Gulf Coast. Warm tropical areas, so that's where we focus in on first. But like later this year, we're going to upstate New York and visiting a couple that we've never met personally, but we've become great friends just on Facebook. They look a lot like us. They sound a lot like us. Their family dynamic is a lot like us. They just celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary. And again, our friendship blossomed online because of who they are and what they do, very similar to us. We're going to go see them in New York later this year.
Fantastic. Now, for those of you watching, if you want to gain access to these resources Linda and Charles are talking about, we've got a link for you. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/funloving. That's yourbrilliance.org/funloving. Thank you, Linda and Charles, for coming onto the show. And I wondered if you had any last message you would like to leave our viewers with.
Well, first off, thank you, Amy, for having us. And
Yes.
What I would say, my parting words would be, get out and have fun. That's a great way to connect, especially not being stuck in your home on your sofa. We love Netflix, but you have to get off the sofa to experience one another, even if it's in your own backyard, literally, or, somewhere in your area if you aren't a traveler. It's so important.
Mine's going to be a little more direct to the men of the group. Assess the temperature of your marriage, figure out where you're at, and lay your life down for your spouse, your partner, because that's what, to me, marriage is. The relationship is all about anyway. Not being selfish. I am selfish, but I'm selfish for us, not for me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you out there for watching. We hope to see you again soon. Until then, let your brilliance shine.